In this video, we will showcase to you the monsters that dwarf and make Godzilla Earth, the biggest version of the G-Man, to look like a small lizard in comparison. Let's start with stating the official size of Godzilla Earth. So, he is 300 meters tall and weighs 100,000 tons, and was a mixed reptilian plant kaiju that emerged in the 21st century and later got rid of humanity, and then 20,000 years later, he grew to be this monster that ruled the planet. So anyway, let's see this list of movie and gaming monsters bigger than him. Just a warning though, we won't include monsters from books and comics and not the monsters that are around the size of planets, and of course the ones that are bigger than planets. So at number 15 we have Cthulhu. This great old one has been seen in many games and more recently in movies and shows like Underwater and South Park. Although this creature is stated to be in the range of hundreds of meters tall, no one really knows his exact height, and the reason for this is that Cthulhu can control his size to be whatever he wishes to be. He could be just 9 meters or 30 feet tall as seen in the show's gameplay, or around 90 meters or 300 feet tall in the movie Underwater, and more than 300 to 400 meters or 1000 to 1300 feet in other games like the Call of Cthulhu. This would put him a little bit taller than Godzilla Earth. At number 14 we have the Titans. Next we have the plethora of titans as seen in the game God of War 3, although only a few were named and actively seen like Oceanus, Hyperion, Gaia and KRONOS. These titans were rightfully called so as their height ranges between 400 to 500 meters or between 1300 to 1600 feet tall. This would mean that the titans were around 100 to 200 meters taller than Godzilla Earth, but it wouldn't mean that they are more powerful than him. In the game, however, we can see clearly how big they are as the character Kratos had to fight enemies on the titans' hands and all over their body. Number 13, KRONOS. This next entry is also a Greek titan but from another franchise and looks completely different. KRONOS is the main antagonist of the movie Wrath of the Titans, and he is the father of Zeus, Poseidon and Hades. KRONOS' current physical form is composed of lava and molten rock of lines of lava surrounding his body, mouth and eyes, which would suggest that the inside parts of his body is completely composed of lava itself. He is also capable of projecting massive waves of lava from his hands, and with his size of 500 meters or 1640 feet in height, he would be 200 meters or 660 feet taller than Godzilla Earth. At number 12 we have the ADAMANTOISE. This creature is a recurring enemy in the Final Fantasy series. It is a large turtle with high defense and strength, but sometimes with low magical defense or capabilities. Later entries in the series include the larger Adamantoises that utterly dwarf the earlier parties that are fought as super bosses. In Final Fantasy 15, the Adamantoise reached its biggest size at 713 meters long or 2,339 feet, but with an unstated height that could have been anywhere between 400 to 500 meters tall, or around 1,300 to 1,600 feet. It is the largest and the oldest living creature known to man in the series of games and said to have been born at the dawn of time itself. Number 11, the EXOGORTH. Seen in Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back, the EXOGORTH, or colloquially known as the Space Slug, was a gigantic species of toothed gastropod. They were silicon-based life forms that survive in the vacuum of space by making their homes in the caverns and craters of asteroids. They fed on minerals of asteroids, various stellar energy fields, other space-based life forms, ships and other unfortunate creatures that unknowingly passed into their mouths. Although normal ones are small, the biggest ones could reach 900 meters or almost 3,000 feet long, 3 times the height of Godzilla Earth. At number 10 we have SURTUR. SURTUR was the ruler of Muspelheim, prophesied to be the one to initiate Ragnarok. SURTUR was successfully defeated by Odin before, who stole from him the source of his power, the eternal flame, before banishing him and his entire race to Muspelheim. In the movie Ragnarok, Loki resurrected him with the eternal flame and used him to defeat Hela. The fire demon then fulfilled the prophecy of Ragnarok by destroying Asgard along with Hela and himself in the process. Just before thrusting his sword into Asgard, he was anywhere between 0.5 to 1 kilometers or 0.3 to 0.6 miles in height. Number 9, the Reapers. The Reapers are a highly advanced machine race of synthetic organic starships from the game Mass Effect. These Reapers reside in dark space. which is the vast, mostly starless space between galaxies. They hibernate there, dormant for 50,000 years at a time, before returning to the galaxy and consuming everything. These giant machines are ancient and their true name is unknown. Reapers were just a name given by the Protheans, the previous galactic power 50,000 years before. These Reapers are gigantic organic monster ships of 1 to 2 kilometers or 0.6 to 1.2 miles in size, 3 to 6 times the height of Godzilla Earth. Number 8. Parallax. The Parallax entity is a demonic-looking parasitic cosmic entity that is the sentient embodiment of fear in the emotional spectrum. Its creation came at the dawn of existence and traveled from world to world and causing entire civilizations to destroy themselves out of fear and paranoia. But in the Green Lantern movie, Parallax was created as a result of the guardian of the universe, KRONOS, becoming possessed and corrupted by the yellow energy of fear. It was seen that Parallax could envelop cities, and it would be anywhere between 2 to 3 kilometers or between 1.2 to 1.8 miles across. Number 7. KALROS. This next one is also from the game Mass Effect, and they are called treasure maws. They are subterranean carnivores that spend their entire lives eating or searching for something to eat. They are enormous, violent creatures that burst up from the ground without warning when disturbed. They reproduce via spores that can lie dormant for millennia and are robust enough to survive prolonged periods in deep space and atmospheric re-entry. KALROS is the biggest of them all, with a total length of 2.98 kilometers or 1.85 miles and almost 10 times the height of Godzilla Earth. Number 6. JORMUNGANDR. From the game God of War Foe, this creature called Jormungandr is also known as the World Serpent. This is a mythical Jotun serpent, but seen active in the game and destined to fight Thor in Ragnarok. He becomes an ally of Kratos and Atreus in the game after the pair awaken him from deep slumber within the Lake of Nine, as only his head is seen, and even at that it was anywhere between 60 to 100 meters or between 200 to 330 feet across. So by extrapolating his length, using dimensions of normal snakes, his total length would be anywhere between 3 to 5 kilometers or 2 to 3 miles long. And number 5, we have the Leviathan. On the 5th spot, we have another organic spaceship monster called the Leviathan, and this one is from the game STARCRAFT. This Leviathan is an airborne and also a spaceborne Zerg breed, and for those who don't know what the Zergs are, they are a swarm alien species with psionic powers, and they consume every living thing in order to attain genetic perfection. The Leviathan is one of these species incorporated and mutated to fulfill a purpose of transport. This alien monster is 6.7 kilometers or 4.1 miles long, or more than 22 times the size of Godzilla Earth. At number 4, we have the CLOVERFIELD monster. First seen in the movie Cloverfield, the monster was said to have come from the Atlantic Ocean, where it was awakened by submarines sent down to the depths to investigate. This monster later emerges out and rampages throughout Manhattan, destroying the city in its path. It was said to have been a baby at that time, and the adult form was seen in the movie Cloverfield Paradox in the ending as towering above the clouds, even while standing in the ocean. So this monster could have been anywhere between 5 to 8 kilometers or between 3 to 5 miles tall, or 16 to 26 times taller than Godzilla Earth. Number 3. The SUMMA VERMINOTH. The SUMMA VERMINOTH were gargantuan spacefaring beasts with tentacles and multiple eyes. They dwelt in the Acades maelstrom and were embedded in legends of what travelers may encounter. Often misunderstood due to their monstrous size and voracious appetite, the beasts are a staple of legends passed between ship captains and crew. These monsters are rare, but the one encountered in the movie Solo: A Star Wars Story was almost beyond comprehension in size, later officially stated to be 7.4 kilometers or 4.6 miles long. Number 2. The RIFTWORM. The RIFTWORM is a gargantuan annelid creature from the game Gears of War. This monstrous worm dwells deep in the hollows of the planet Serra and is worshipped as a god by the inhabitants. They were massive worm-like creatures that were 8 to 10 miles long or 12 to 16 kilometers long and half a mile or 800 meters across. They were semi-intelligent creatures and created the hollows by burrowing through the crust of the planet Serra and created life inside the hollows. It could easily swallow 3 Godzilla Earths standing one on top of another. And number 1. GHIDORAH. The top spot goes to the arch-enemy of Godzilla Earth himself. The enemy GHIDORAH is a monstrous entity that takes form of a golden 3-headed dragon and inhabits the void between dimensions. GHIDORAH has used supergravity to consume countless worlds throughout the millennia. He is a gigantic golden three-headed dragon-like creature with two bat-like wings at his sides, two legs and two long tails. He was seen coming out of portals and the neck seemed to stretch out to forever, but luckily the official stated size of 20 kilometers or 12.4 miles for this GHIDORAH was given. So that's that, and we have come to the end of the list of movie and gaming monsters bigger than Godzilla Earth. There were other creatures like the Apocalypse Beast and Caligon the Black and others that appeared only in novels and comics that were not included. So we will try to make another list with just these in the next time. So take care, be safe and subscribe for more monster videos.